a warm welcome to everyone who has joined us today in this webinar. I hope everyone is doing great. Before we get started, a very brief introduction about myself. Vinisha has already introduced me, but it's just I've been into the HR domain for almost more than a decade, having a progressive experience in HR domain, working on a consulting of SAP products, the on-prem and the SuccessFactors product as well. So yeah, I'm really thrilled and excited to have everyone here in this amazing webinar, and we really hope that with this webinar you'll definitely take away the key understanding about how the different SuccessFactors AI capabilities are currently available and will help you further transform your employee related processes and also your HR administration. So without a further ado, let's get started. And yeah, I think before we deep dive into the topics that we have planned for today, and this is definitely not something around the commercial proposal from our side, but we really would like to introduce us as an organization. I'm sure most of us, you already know about what TalenTeam does, what it offers, and what kind of different innovations we have already worked upon. But yeah, TalenTeam has been into an SAP landscape around SuccessFactor consulting for more than 10 years of span, and then we do support almost all the SuccessFactor modules, all the services that we provide that revolves around that. Apart from that, it's not only that what the SuccessFactors out of the box offers. We do provide consulting services, health check services, support services around that. We do also work very diligently around innovating the product itself and enhancing the current capability of SuccessFactors. And some of the innovations that we already have available around the Blend LXP, which is something our the LXP platform, which some of you definitely already know, some around the Talent Intelligent Hub as well to accelerate customers to get that implemented, and the other innovations on the different areas of SuccessFactors. Moving on. So what we have got for you today. We are going to talk about that in an AI world, right? We all know that AI is definitely not at an early stage, definitely not. It has definitely evolved quite a bit. It has impacted every way of working. So the HR area hasn't definitely been remain impacted. So we'll talk about a very brief about that, how AI has already evolved the HR. We are going to talk about in terms of that around the AI enhancement from the SuccessFactors product point of view or SAP product point of view, what SAP has now to offer, what are the different capabilities that are currently available. We'll talk about some of the business use cases as well, and definitely for you as an existing SuccessFactor customer or a further prospect, if you'd like to understand that in terms of adapting any of those features, what are the prerequisites consideration that you may need to take care for having those implemented in your SuccessFactor ecosystem today. So this is the agenda that we have got for you, and let's deep dive further to all of these areas. So we pretty much understand that with the advancement in AI in itself as a technology, right? Around the adoption of that in a different business area, it is definitely expanding, and has evolved about on each area of the business that currently operates across the globe. It has impacted in terms of how the users utilize the different functionality that is available in an applications, how the administrators do perform their repetitive tasks, and also how those insights that are provided through an AI features or a capability that are available within the product, helping organizations to get more insights around the data, the data that they have, how they can really pretty much utilize that. So definitely AI has not left any business untouched. It has definitely helped them expand and accelerate more. It is in an evaluation stage, so definitely there is definitely more way to go forward, but this is what it has for now. talking about the human resource, which is definitely after the employee, which are the heart of any business, HR is as one of the strongest pillar of any organization. So all the advancements that has happened in artificial intelligence have definitely impacted the way of HR working as well. Some of the key areas where the AI definitely suits the best, and that is around the learning, which is the larger impact area which the end users can have. In terms of the engagement as well, all the day-to-day interactions between the managers, between the HR BPs with the employees and the business team, that is something definitely one of the area at which AI can be further utilized for recruiting the employees, for the onboarding experience, giving a seamless experience for a new joiners from the day one they are onboarded up until they are completely well versed with the company, all the processes and everything that they need to do over the further months while they are into their preparation periods, all can be well managed through the AI features that are currently available across the applications. Keeping all that in mind, what SAP has done is they have thought that well through, and definitely it is SAP has been a leading in terms of the ERP applications. So they have definitely come up with something which best fit with the current AI advancement. And here, what we are doing is we are going to talk about, and definitely we aren't here as SAP professionals, but looking at the product portfolio, it's very essential that you do understand that the capabilities and the use cases that we are going to talk further in this webinar, where all these were derived from. What was the thought processes behind all that? What is the key pillars that all these functionalities revolves around? And that's what the SAP Business AI strategies come into play. So this is well put together around the three core pillars, which is having all the AI functionalities available within the product or as additional services. They should follow all these core pillars, which are nothing but relevant, reliable, and responsible. So these functionality has to be relevant in the sense that all the updates that are happening at a product level, and this strategy is not only which is specific to the HR product in SAP portfolio. It is across the entire cloud enterprise portfolio that SAP has for the different application area, be it field glass, be it Concur, be it CRM. For all those areas, these functionalities, the AI capabilities that are available, these pillars does applicable for all that. Having the relevant features available within the product area so that product can be more further enhanced, having it being reliable, which is that it does provide insights, it does provide the results around the data that does fits and thus sits within the SAP ecosystem as well. And on the third pillar, which is the most important one, which is having those functionality being responsible in the sense that the results that they are generating, the suggestions that they are generating being the AI functionality, they are responsible enough that they do adhere to all the data privacy compliance and all that company has in place. And with that also in mind, SAP also have a specific team around AI ethics policy who do ensure that every functionality around AI that is getting added into the product is validated and verified to that committee as well. That was all about the strategy. If you look at here that the product portfolio of the business AI, it has a multiple component. You may have seen that here we are talking about some of the ecosystem in the AI ecosystem, the different partners that are available and do already have offering around the AI capabilities. We are also talking about that having a foundational or the core AI platform on top of the business technology platform, on top of which what you can do is you can really leverage the BTP application for developing or enhancing the current capabilities that SuccessFactors offers around AI. Some of the functionality that are embedded into the product itself, and here we are talking about all the different application area in the cloud portfolio, that wherever these functionalities do exist, there are some already embedded AI functionalities available within that. And then some around the AI power insights and the assistance. And we are going to talk about it because this is going to be one of the focus in the webinar today, that what are the different insights and the assistant that the users and the admin can currently have through the different tools that are available. All these drill down really to what objective. So we talked about the three pillars, we talked about the different component of that strategy, but these are all driven to an objective of these three areas, providing the natural user experience. So though there will be certain aspects going forward will be completely driven by the artificial intelligence, however, the content is that should provide as close as the natural user experience as if employees are interacting with actually a human. To provide more automation around certain functionality that can be well done without having multiple manual interventions, and also all the data that currently sits within the SAP product or the entire ecosystem that customers has, they can actually perfectly utilize that data for their further business decisions. So this is the product portfolio that we talked about. Definitely for the existing SuccessFactor customers, not all and every functionality will be available, but this all will further drill down when we talk about that, how in terms of what is available for the existing customers, what is available for where you have to procure an additional services from SAP around AI. And here that is. So when we talk about the SAP Business AI from the product portfolio perspective, so it is currently offered into a different areas. So here the very first is the ecosystem AI, and that is categorized as that all the different partnerships that SAP has with the vendors which do provide certain AI capabilities, they are available through the SAP store. So if you'd like, you can really subscribe to those functionality and have that added in your SAP ecosystem. Then some of the services that can be built on top of BTP, right? And the basic AI are the features which are available within the product itself. A very classic example of within the SuccessFactor for learning, the learning recommendations are one of the example of the basic AI. We are also going to talk about generative AI assistant, Joule. I'm sure most of you already know about it. That is also part of the basic AI functionality. And then the very top one, which is around premium AI, which is paid services definitely for which for acquiring certain AI capabilities within the product as and when they are available within the SuccessFactors and the other area of the SAP portfolio. That is something that can be procured to the additional purchase of the SAP AI units. You may have noticed that we have mentioned here around that there are certain offerings from SAP, which is Rise with SAP and the Grow with SAP. These are the offerings which by default do contain a certain premium AI functionality. So that is definitely dependent on how well you are with those. In terms of what functionality that are currently out of the box available and do fall under the category of the artificial intelligence. And here, like I said, it's not only around the HR application area, the different product portfolio that SAP offer, they do have these capabilities added, some of the key capabilities added into the product itself, and for which the very least thing that you will have to have is have that specific SuccessFactor product or the other application area product implemented, and you get the use of those capabilities. If you talk about from the HR perspective, so in the SuccessFactors itself, currently there are some inbuilt capabilities available which are AI type. So you can have the career path and the skill recommendations, the personalized learning recommendation. That is where with the overall enhancement on the learning, where now the integrated learning experience is available, right? With that, what you really can do is if you have the talent intelligent hub in place, the basic skill architecture in place, then your personal learning recommendation can literally provide you more intuitive recommendations and the job analyzer functionalities. Moving on, and this is again a part of the AI functionality that are available around the business. AI portfolio is the most important and it has been the buzz the Joule. This is the co-pilot functionality. And if we can understand it, this is something which is available as a product surface, right? So Joule is already available within SuccessFactors, right? It is also available in the other application area, but let's stick to talking about it availability in the SuccessFactor. So in a different area, this is available for Joule. Definitely what you really have to have is you have to have that specific module. Once you have the module, the functionality that are currently supported by Joule, you can really utilize that. There are certain other prerequisites as well for you to be able to utilize the Joule, which we are going to talk about later in this webinar. But Joule is something which can help getting the work done more faster. It does provide where there'll be no need for employees to, for everything they want to do it, to go through their manager or through HRs to ask about it. A classic example is in SuccessFactor, there is a feedback functionality where you can really request feedback for someone on, maybe you do have to provide that with your performance review. That is something also can be managed through the Joule. You can just say you'd like to request feedback. It will produce the close recommendation that who you'd like to get a feedback from. Then you can pick and choose, and then you can actually ask for and submit the request. Around offerings, as we talked about, that it's not only something that is already inbuilt, the Joule, the co-pilot that we talked about, there are further capabilities that you can really build on the AI. And for that, you definitely have a platform available, which is a business technology platform, which is an environment which does provide a database management, a database application you can really build on top of BTP. You can have integrated with your SAP products as well. And with the AI core, or I would say AI foundation platform that is available on the BTP, you can really utilize that for building such applications. And this is the third component that we talked in the business strategy slide, that it's not only what SAP is currently building, but what they have done is in their entire ecosystem. There are other options available from the other partners which are already available. So I would be interested to talk about, for example, Degree, right? This is something, an AI powered tool, what you really can use for having, if you have a skills data, if you want to assess any kind of skill gap assessment and derive any kind of recommendations, opportunities, what are the development areas that employees should have, a Degree can be something that you can utilize for that. But these are one, you can definitely look at the list. It might not be limited to these ones. It can further enhance based on what are different area that gets added into the ecosystems. And but you can check this list or the latest one at a SAP store. Talking about the top component on the AI offering, which is the premium AI. And these are the most important. You might be wondering that, okay, we do have SuccessFactor product, we do have a SuccessFactor module specific, and then as part of the product itself, there are certain capability that we can use. But how about the other areas that SAP offers on the AI? That how can we really utilize those? They are definitely called into a premium AI capability matrix. And like you see here, there are different functionalities available on a different application areas. So around the human capital management, that is where the success factors come into play. There are functionalities of premium AI type available, writing assistant, creation of the performance goals, the creating the skills architecture, generating the interview questions, and that is something you may require certain other component as well for that. For example, Microsoft account for that, generating an insight, generating an application description for the jobs as well. So these are the ones that really falls under the premium capabilities, which definitely requires a further procurement of the licenses. What SAP has done is they have actually created new services, in the sense that you would not have to procure these premium AI unit licenses for each specific application area. You'd procure it, and then it does apply to the entire product portfolio of the different SAP products that you have. Okay. I'd like to give, and this is quite detailed, but I think it's very important. We are talking about enhancing the success factor processes, the HR operations, and the user experience within the success factor. So it's very important that we do know that at this point in time, what are the different features that are available within the different success factors product and the module that you really will be able to utilize. But again, these are all fall under the category of premium. So what does it mean? You'll have to procure as additional SAP AI unit license in order to have all these activated in your success factors application and have them utilized for your users. And you may have seen that here it really covers across the entire success factor suite, be it the talent area, career development, performance management, goal, the core, the platform, the recruitment, the employee central as well. Some of these are where most of them, if you see here, is around the assisted writing. So in most of the talent area, right, what is required is where I have to write a goal. I have to write a description of my goal. I have to provide a feedback to someone. I have to provide feedback in forms of the comments on certain area within the success factor talent processes. So these features, what it will do is they will definitely help users to have the tone of their feedback, the text that they are writing, the content that they're writing will be more enhanced. So these are going to be available within the success factor. Some of them are already available. So for these to ensure that what features of these types are available within success factors, it's always ensured do keep a track of the latest release updates that are happening in success factors, right? That does talk about that which features are now available. But again, just a reminder that these are all as of now falls under the category of premium AI feature, which means you have to procure a separate SAP AI unit licenses for that. We'll talk about at a very high level later in the webinar that in terms of the procurement of these SAP AI unit license, what's the model that the pricing model that is currently offered. But definitely, to get the further detail, you may have to involve your CSM and get in touch with the SAP team for further details. Here are some of the example, and again, it wouldn't be feasible for us to present the demonstration of these AI features in a live environment. That's why we have some snippet for you, so you can at least get some of the understanding that how these use cases work. I'll take an example of a Joule, right? Joule is what it's a assistant. It is already available as part of the success factor where you can have it activated. There are certain prerequisites you have to meet. Once it is there, then on the different areas within the success factor where the employee needs an assistant, they can actually utilize a Joule for that. For taking like an example, like if I really would like to maybe write a goal comment, how can I do that? If I want to request for a feedback, if I want to find the specific option within the success factor where I can do it. So they can really prompt Joule with the specific questions. It will come up with the suggestions. If there are different kind of areas where Joule currently supports the navigational searches, the transactional searches, and the conversational searches as well. That's a different functionality that currently the Joule supports. Taking a look at the another example that we have here, which is creation of the job descriptions, right? Which is very important for most of the organizations here, that your job descriptions has to be precise. They has to follow the business industry standards. They also should be aligned to how your individual organization job description should look like. So with the job description assistant or AI capability that is available, what it can does is you can write how you'd like to, and then based on the key area that you have provided, it can actually generate a proper comprehensive job description for you. And then it is easier for especially the team who looks after defining the job descriptions for an employee, because they are certainly ties back to the job profiles that are available within the product. You can utilize that. And the another one example that we have here is where you can generate interview questions, right? So generation of the questions is currently requires that it's not only with the SuccessFactors AI capability, you also have to have a Microsoft 365 account for that in place, because currently it only works with the Microsoft Teams. So definitely it's not something that everything is available from and within SuccessFactors you can just switch on and then ready to use. There are certain areas that you have to incorporate for utilizing this functionality. And for this one, definitely you have to have a Microsoft 365 degree account, and so that it can help you generate the interview questions. Moving on, I'd like to talk about for some of the use cases, right? And what has been their value proposition? What has they have actually impacted and already will help customers further. And I think there will be no better example than talking about the Joule, right? So over the year, what customer have faced, there are a little distinct model within every organization. But as an employee, if I have a query around certain area, process within the applications, there are definitely specific help desks set up. First, user support setup within the organizations. But given the time that now this is the era of AI, where the users are more advanced, the applications are more advanced. So that's where the Joule is there. The Joule, what it can does is it can really helps users manage some of the stuff that they do within the application just by themselves, and it gives them a more intuitive experience of using the system, using the application, understanding the application as well. This is an example here that if you would prompt something to the Joule, right? What it does, it actually contextually, based on what you have written in the prompt, it will look at the data that is available within the ecosystem. It will look at the insight that's available within the system, and will then come up with this recommendation and suggestions. So it can be a kind of guided journey for the users without having them to have interaction with the always to go to a specific team and ask for a question, which is a traditional way of getting the queries clarified. Right? So this is some of the insights here that based on after the Joule was launched, which was somewhere in the year 2023. I think that's when the SAP first announced about the Joule, and since then this is available in the SAP ecosystem. That what it has really helped in all these interaction, conversational, navigational type of prompts from the user around the applications. Another example that I would like to talk about is, and this is a part of the base AI feature. So base AI feature, we did talk about that around the AI as well. There are different components available, and base AI are a type of features which are available within the product itself. You don't have to procure any additional services for that. But you do have to have certain functionalities implemented. So we're talking about here the learning recommendations. So in order for SuccessFactors to produce personalized learning recommendations based on the courses I've completed, based on the skills that I have acquired, and that is definitely the Talent Intelligence Hub plays a very vital role, having your skills framework set up, having your skills tagged to the employees, having your skills and the other attributes, not only the skills attributes tagged to the employee, and then generate the recommendation. So once this is all properly well set up, then what LMS can do is it can generate intelligent recommendations. There are standard functionalities available where I would go through a course, I would like it, and then I can recommend it. But I would not, the moment I would go to my learning platform, I would like the system to produce some recommendation based on the courses I've done in the past, the courses that my peers are taking, the courses maybe has been into around the organizations and been taken well. So all those recommendations are definitely, again, the AI kind of recommendations are currently possible through this enhancement. Earlier, the personalized learning recommendation were a kind of where you had to have that for only for a specific group of customers. But now with Talent Intelligence Hub, having your learning sealed with the platform, this is all can all be utilized by the customers. Here, I think one of the things that we wanted to ensure that you do get an understanding that in terms of the features that we have talked about, right? So these are there. Some of the features right off the box available. For some of them, you have to procure some licenses. So here are the two different areas that we want to talk here is for the Joule, right? Because that is something I think most of the customers, the SuccessFactors existing customers especially, would be more interested in, to have it enabled, to utilize it, to see how it will work, how it can simplify the business processes and also enhance the user experience. These are the some, I would say, prerequisite. And the most important thing to note about is currently Joule is not available on all the data center. It is precisely, I think, it's only available on EU and the US data centers. However, what SAP is doing is they are looking at how it can be further rolled out to the data centers that are others, and also checking if there is possibility of doing cross mapping between the data centers, but obviously to ensure that there will be no latency issues. In terms of the languages, currently Joule only supports the English language. Okay, there are definitely research going further and feasibility analysis around how in future the other key languages, for example, Spanish, French, the Chinese language, all those can be supported. But at this point in time, if you would activate Joule in your SuccessFactors environment, you would only see that it only provides support or assistance in an English language. Okay, you have to have definitely your IAS, IPS set up with your SuccessFactors application. That is must. Joule is definitely, you definitely must don't have to have some all the SuccessFactors products, but in order to utilize a different support around the SuccessFactors, it depends that what product you already have in use. As you may have noticed that it says that it's preferred that you have a SuccessFactors Employee Central already implemented. That will ensure that the data that currently SuccessFactors holds, it's more comprehensive in terms of the Joule for providing the navigational search, the other conversational support around the SuccessFactors application. In terms of the licensing, so there's a specific model that SAP has come up, and that's around Joule because it's an inbuilt functionality. You really don't have to procure any additional services with the cost, but there are a procurement of type zero cost, or I would say zero SQ required for that purpose. And then definitely for on that part, you definitely can touch base with your CSM and get the understanding from SAP that how that works. For utilizing Joule within the SuccessFactors application, there is definitely a consent agreement required between the SAP and the customers, because this is the artificial intelligence. It would generate certain information. It will utilize the data that is available within your SuccessFactors applications as well. For the customers who currently do not have a BTP, right? They may have not subscribed for business technology platform. For them, I mean, as a process of activating the Joule, what happens is you get provisioned your first SAP BTP account. So that's around the Joule. About the premium AI features that we had the list earlier, that for those premium any features that is available around AI and falls under the category of premium, you have to procure a specific AI units licenses. Currently, and I'm definitely not have a complete knowledge of how these licenses are sold, what is the pricing model and everything, but they are definitely sold in units, in the sense that you would procure certain units. It will give you access to certain limit of messages within the Joule. Every text message that is prompted by a user, that is considered as one page. These licenses are consumed based on the page, the transactional level, and the navigation level as well. So I think to get the more understanding around that, you may have to get in touch with the SAP team around that. And definitely there are some informations available. So if you would go to on the SAP product website and would look at the AI services that SAP currently offers, you can get to know that what are the different AI services that are available and how you really can utilize one of them. What are the prerequisites that are required for that? Okay. In terms of the further roadmap information, so yes, AI is evolving, and in correlation to that, the AI functionality that SAP is offering and is planned to offer, this will evolve. If you'd like to look at that, what is currently planned in the future roadmap, you can definitely look at here. You can go to SuccessFactor roadmap information portal there on the community as well, but ensure that you do have a valid S user ID, because it will require that for you to access that information. There are some other documentation that you can really look at further to get the more understanding that how the SAP Business AI as a model as whole it works, what are the different functionality that is offered. I do have some of the public I would say documentation links available here, which you can definitely go to the SAP website and look at the artificial intelligence section. It will give you all that information there around the services specification, that what you really need to procure, how does it work. There is a community page also available around all the news and updates and innovation that are happening around AI, so you can leverage that. Around the PA premium AI features, a detailed documentation is available on a SAP Help portal that talks about that on the success factors or across the 360-degree performance management platform, Employee Central, all the assistive writing, the features that are available for the interview question generation, how they work. There are mini demos are also available for you to have a look at there. And if you want to know more about the Joule in detail, that how it works, what are the prerequisites, what are the different data center it currently is supported, what are the different kind of AI Joule supports, how does it structure, you can definitely check the Joule documentation on the SAP Help portal. So I think that was exactly like to cover on the webinar today, to give you a more broader understanding that currently AI is not only limited to the SAP HR, but it is available across the different product that SAP offers. But to give you understanding to begin with, you might be wondering, okay, we want to utilize the AI features, but where to start with? You already have something within the product itself. You can extend it further using the BTP platform. If you like to utilize some pre-built premium features of AI, then definitely look for the SAP AI unit license procurement and get those with her. I think that was I wanted to cover in the webinar today. We'd like to quickly check if there are any questions posted by the participant, and would be happy to address those. Vinisha, I believe we have some questions.
Yes.
Okay. Ralph, yeah, we have a question from you. Is there a connection between SAP Joule and Microsoft Teams? Can you get access to Joule through Microsoft Teams? So around this, at this point in time, the only functionality that is available which will require a Joule and Microsoft Teams is the interview question generations. So definitely you cannot have that functionality for your SuccessFactor if you don't have a Microsoft Teams 365 account. So you have to have both because it works only there. Do we have any other questions from anyone? Okay.
Sadaf, I have a couple of questions that was directly sent. Does Joule work with non-SAP systems?
Yes. So how it works, the SAP system, right? You can have an integration with the other non-SAP system within your SAP ecosystem. So once you have a Joule activated within one of your SAP products, right? What it does, it does do a contextualize thorough screening of the data that sits within the SAP and then all the connected system, and then it brings information and the results from there. So yes, it does work for non-SAP system as well, but you have to have those integrated with your one of the SAP product.
Thank you so much. One more is, are SAP AI unit licenses limited to one area of SAP product?
Not essentially. So if I can elaborate this further, that the SAP Business AI, the model, right? The offering that SAP has, it works or applicable across all the application areas. So if you have procured for, say, 15,000 SAP AI unit licenses, it's not something that you would procure it specifically for SAP SuccessFactors or your field glass or Ariba. You would procure it and then you can use it across all the SAP application that you have. Yep.
Thank you, Sadaf. I have a personal question myself. Where can we find the SAP AI future innovations?
Yeah, so I think I've did mention that in the presentation that there is what you really can do is you can find that on the SAP Help portal. However, SAP has a dedicated community page around all the roadmap information, and that's where you really can find around the AI innovations as well.
Thank you so much. I think we have one more question by Matthew. Does Joule report back to the user as a pop-up in SuccessFactors?
So when you actually have a Joule in your SuccessFactors activated, right? So the areas where you need an assistant, you will have a picker to start the prompt for the Joule, right? And then you can start asking questions or maybe anything that you'd like to inquire, and then it prompts you back. So it would never send you a message first, but you have to initiate that conversation because it's assistant. Yep.
Thank you. I hope that answered your question, Matthew. If any of you have any more questions, please feel free to post them on the chat or Q&A box, or if you wish to speak directly, you can raise your hand and then we can just unmute you and you can directly ask your questions. Yes, we have another one. How can we budget for the AI units that will be required for the next year?
Good question. And I'll try my best to answer based on what I know. So in terms of the budgeting, what happens is when you will procure the SAP AI unit licenses, it does give you an estimate that when you're procuring, let's say 1,000 units, you would have access to, for example, 25,000 messages or prompts within the Joule around that. So what happens is then you do, and also what you can do is if you are just a beginner, you don't want to roll it out across the organization, there is an option where you can really through the role-based permission, you can define that who you really want within your user base to really access the SAP AI capabilities. And there are I think currently, once you have the AI keep features enabled. On the AI administration, there are the consumption report available, I believe. Again, I'm not sure how that looks like, but there should be a consumption report available which can give you an idea that how many units has already been consumed, how many messages has already been utilized through that. But again, what happens is it will never stop you doing the overhead consumption, but you are always notified, and then you'll be priced accordingly. So in terms of the budgeting, I think you may have to understand the pattern over the months once you have these AI capabilities enabled, that how well the users are utilizing these, and you can look at those consumption reports and then budget for the future use.
Thank you, Sadaf. We have one more. Can we interact with Joule using voice, or is it typing only?
Is it typing for now?
I think
And
there's one more. I think you can just take it up
yeah,
directly.
sure. I think that's from Matthew again. If a person uses their mobile phone to access SuccessFactor and Joule is in a pop-up window to answer a question, will the result from Joule only be shown if the person has a Microsoft 360 account, or will it show on a phone as a part of SuccessFactors? It may be of importance for us as we mostly having non-Microsoft 360 connected users, but they access SuccessFactor every day for work. So Matthew, only the functionality that requires Microsoft's connectivity for that feature to work, which I did mention in the webinar, that the interview question generation is something which is only supported through the Microsoft Teams, right? There is no other product surface available or a Joule available for you to get those prompts. So other than that, I think if your users are accessing SuccessFactors, they have a valid account in there, they have a permission to use the AI capabilities, then they should be able to get the results. Rolf, will the Joule be available in native SuccessFactor app? So as of now, they haven't rolled out Joule at an app level. So I mean, it is only available on SuccessFactor web version, but I'm sure there will be something on the roadmap. I haven't seen so far that as of yet. What's the roadmap around rolling out on a mobile version of it? But yeah, as of now, that's only available on the web version of the SuccessFactor application. It's not available on the SuccessFactor app. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sadaf. It was a really insightful session. I hope all your questions were answered properly. If you have any further questions, please, you can write to us at info@talentteam.com and we will take it up appropriately. Thank you all for joining us and participating. We hope you found this very useful and valuable. If you, again, like I said, if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate. We'll also be sending out a follow-up email with the recording of the session and any additional resources that will be helpful for you. I think, yeah, have a great rest of the day, and we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you.